Morning, everybody. Good morning. All right, try it one more time. I'm almost there. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Outstanding. All right, let me talk about my boss, my mentor. Jennifer Bagley is an experienced business strategist in the fields of digital marketing, social media marketing, sales, operations, supply chain, technology, and business intelligence. She's going to talk faster than that.
Not today.
All right. The experience coupled with an amazing network of mentors gives her the unique ability to help others achieve accelerated results through effective behavior, strategy, and technology practices, systems, and tools. She also founded the Association of Sales Supply Chain Professionals and defined the preferred sales supply chain process. Without further ado, please welcome Jennifer Bagley.
Thank you, Michael. Can you guys hear me? I notice my voice sounds a little odd today. I talk too much, typical female. So thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate you, and I appreciate all of you guys having me here today. Is this okay? You can hear me? I just can't laugh because otherwise we're going to get like 19 pitches. Tell me a little bit about you. How many of you own your own business? Yes? How many of you own your own business and you do business B2B? B2C? Okay, fantastic. How many do B2B? What about B2B? How many think we do business person to person right now? Raise your hand. Everything we do is person to person today. It really is, whether it's corporate or not. How many of you are employed by another organization and you're in sales? Fantastic. B2B? B2C? Fantastic. So networking is supposed to be the topic today. And this is what I do day in and day out. We have a lot of, I know my mic spot's here. We have a lot of different ways, obviously, to network, and things are changing rapidly. You agree? How many of you have kids? Yes? What about 13 and under? Kids or grandkids? Is there a little difference in between the way that they think and the way that we think? They're wired differently. We have, there's some interesting things to consider, so I'm not going to jump right into networking. I really want to talk a little bit more about change and some of the things that we're facing in this time. We have new generations. We're 1,000 days away from an old new generation that literally thinks different. Their minds, they're wired different. They're programmed different than we are, right? And we're 1,000 days away from them either A, putting in an application to work for us. Good luck. B, you're putting in an application to work for them. I know my okay? C, you're going to be trying to convince them to be your customer. Or D, they're going to compete with you. 1,000 days. Anybody with a 13 or under, does that make you worried at this moment? It really should. We need to technically be worried because their ability to connect and convert, their ability to motivate and influence, their ability to build their networks, they outperform adults who have been in business for 20, 30, 40 years. They're outperforming literally from a network standpoint, their collaborative network, their reach, their ability to change somebody's mind, influence them. You're talking instantaneously, and the coolest part is they don't even have to make a phone call. So I was in the British Virgin Islands, and this is a couple of years ago now, and my son, I think he was 12 then, and I felt kind of guilty because I took a trip, I'm a single mom, and I took a trip on his birthday. I was coming back the day after his birthday. So I was getting a little guilty towards the end of the trip, not too guilty, really, but just a little, enough to care. And so I pulled up my phone, and I had written happy birthday in the sand. You know, the water washes up on there, and it's all pretty and clean. I took a coconut, I planted it there, I put some rocks on there, it was so pretty. I took a picture, happy birthday, I said, love mom, uploaded it to Facebook. I looked online, you know how much money it costs to upload a photo from Facebook in the British Virgin Islands? It's like $40, happy birthday. So as soon as I looked on there, I go and I see my son has created an event on Facebook, at main event. He has 275 RSVPs, and I'm buying. It's $35 a kid minimum. So we're in a completely different environment. Right now, our children are going to school for jobs that don't exist. If you think about the amount of change that has occurred in the last 2 years compared to the last 5, the last 5 years compared to the last 10, we're talking about a substantial amount of change in the way that people communicate, the tools people communicate with. Remember arguing with somebody about whether or not they would carry a cell phone with them? How many have cell phones with you today? Okay? Typically, there's more people without underwear than cell phones in the room. The ones that laugh first. He's like, yeah, that's me. So right now, we have a complete shift that's taking place in multiple generations. We have a shift that's taking place with the kids that we're going to wind up either hiring, working for, competing with, or trying to become our consumer, our customer. But we also have this generation, my generation, that's working with baby boomers and trying to figure out how to communicate with them too. So it's almost this fusion of kind of old school principles and new age technology that's required for us to be able to network, required for us to be able to make progress. Okay, for those of you that have pen and paper, I'm going to ask you to take a few notes down because these are the things you'll probably want to refer to later. When it comes to networking, the very first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you have established clarity in what you want. Just write down clarity. Clarity is critical. All too often when you go to networking events or organizations, you'll spend your time trying to hunt for the customer. Who's been in that position? You're going to a networking event, you are looking for a customer, and it's okay to do that, right? How many of you go and you're looking for a strategic partner? Let me give you, and then how many don't know? We're just here because it's the easiest way to get out of work. Or we just have a lack of clarity. For me, networking is going to serve a purpose. Without measurement, you're not going to be able to improve your networking strategy, right? So you've got to have clarity in what your goal is. If I give you two options right now, I said, A, I'll give you a customer with an open checkbook right now, ready to buy. Or B, I'm going to give you a strategic partner who has a database full of ideal clients, but they sell a different product or service. Which would you choose? Strategic partner. Which most people choose? First one. Right now, it's very, very critical that you get clarity in what you're about, what you're seeking, identifying who is the strategic partner. Get rid of things. When you stand up and you're doing your 30-second introduction, you obviously want to get rid of things like I, me, we, and our. Okay? It's not about who's it about. It's about them, right? In addition to that, you want to make sure that you don't use words like anybody, everybody, somebody, right? Because people can resonate with that. When it comes to who's a great introduction for you, you want to be as specific as possible. I've had instances where I've coached people that are trying to generate business via networking or traditional networking, and they'll stand up and they'll say, I'm interested in meeting restaurant owners. And I grill them so much, all the way down to where they finally go, okay, I want to meet the owner of the PC 7-Street location, and he's 6 feet tall, and they finally say everything they're wanting, and someone in the room goes, that's my neighbor. Right? So we have to be very, we have to have clarity in who do we want to meet, who a good connection for us is, and then we need to figure out what is the best means to get them, or what is the best means to reach them. How many of you feel like you're stronger at personal networking versus digital networking? Okay, everyone that's digital feels like you're stronger in the digital environment? Okay, so let me go through. This is literally the fusion of old school principles and new age technology. When you master both, you will see results far beyond anybody who doesn't understand or does not leverage both. The digital world is allowing us to be able to communicate with people faster, more precise, with ease. Right now in our lives, the speed of life, is it totally taking over your sense of being? Do you notice? How many messages do you get a day? How many emails do you get a day? How many text messages? How many instant messages between friends, family, colleagues? I mean, you literally have to limit your friends now. You're like, no, I can't have another one. I'm full. You're nice. I like you. You can hang out, but I can't. I'm full. There's not another hour available, right? Can't have another friend today. So we have to be very, very careful that we're leveraging technology in order to be able to make our networking process more effective. This is a lot of times when I'm talking about digital networking, I'll have people, they'll say, I can't do digital networking because I don't have enough time. That's the #1 excuse that prevents people from actually leveraging technology to be able to bend time and accelerate their results. How many of you feel like I don't have enough time? Yeah? How many of you are in sales in some capacity and you answer the same question day in and day out over and over and over? Groundhog Day. Okay? So, this is our reality check today. If I'm willing to answer the same question over and over and over again in sales capacity, but I'm not willing to take 3 steps back, digitize those questions and answers, and make them available for people who are looking, Why don't I have enough time? Just put down, it's personal choice. I choose to not have enough time because the time is available. If you answer the same question over and over and over again, I'm only answering the people who I've set meetings with, right? So if I have set meetings with all of you, do you feel like this group would have potentially the same question? You're in the sales meeting. So if you were to digitize those questions and answers, if you were to digitize your knowledge, if you were to digitize who you're seeking to work with, if you were to interview, I'll give you an example. If you and I sell to the exact same client base, but you sell a different product than I do, if I was to interview Clivia, if I was to interview Clivia and I was to talk all about her, what she does, and I'm bragging about her business, I'm talking about how great she is and everything else, what is she going to do with that video? She's going to use it. What is the benefit to her? Third-party endorsement? Third-party validation? She doesn't have to say how great she is. Do people believe me about her more than her talking about herself? Absolutely. How long does that video last? 2 minutes? How long in perpetuity is it going to last for your business? Forever. Is it simple interest or compound interest? Compound, absolutely. You throw that up on YouTube, you drop it on a blog post, we put a great title on it, we optimize that title. We know it's something that over years is going to grow and grow and grow. It's going to continue to elevate, it's going to continue to generate leads. So, clarity is knowing exactly who you need to talk to, and the next thing you're going to write down under clarity is focus. Without clarity, you cannot focus. Once you have clarity and you really, really, really grasp and agree to committing to the process of digitizing yourself, digitizing your networking efforts, you can focus on doing those activities that are going to provide the most accelerated results. When you digitize your efforts, who in your guys' company do you think is the best salesperson? For you, for your business owner, everybody that was a business owner. Your CEO? You? Her? That's me too. So, would it be, if you have a sales team, would it be in their best interest for you to get behind the camera and you to give them you? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Your sales organizations, they're not going to be able to replicate you, but you can give them you by digitizing that information. You can also leverage networking in more of a search engine environment. It's called tailgating. So, in my world, there is no competition. If I have a potential competitor, do I want to go network with competitors? Not necessarily. Online, do I want to? Let me give you an example. Let's say that there is a social media and digital marketing speaker that just landed a book, they just dropped it, they just spent 20 grand on a marketing campaign, they got SEO going on, social media campaign, they got everything going on. Why would I want to network with them? Why would I want to talk about them? Why would I want to boast and brag about somebody who does exactly what I do? What would be the benefit? Any thoughts? Do I want to? Absolutely. So let's go through a couple questions. And then it's going to deal exactly what you just said. How many of you in the last 12 months have made a purchase? You are not an existing customer, but you made a purchase from either a newspaper or a magazine that you received in the mail. You made a purchase, 12 months. Did you buy? What magazine? That, not online. So, okay, that's online purchase. So we're only talking about print right now, just magazine or newspaper, yes. Okay, and how did you get that magazine? Have you ever shopped there before? Okay, so existing customer. So think about Nordstrom, right? Who does Nordstrom send their catalog to? Existing customers. Are they trying to acquire a new catalog? Is Nordstrom going to take that catalog and throw it out to Kmart shoppers? Okay. So they're not going to do that, right? So that's actually not a form of new client acquisition. That is a form of getting an existing customer to get a new pair of shoes. Like actually they caught me on this last week, right? So that's a little bit different. But in this room, anybody, you're not an existing customer, but newspaper or magazine. Let's even throw in door hangers. Put on your door. 12 months. Made purchase? Yes? What did you buy? Ah, restaurant discounts, fantastic. What else? Anyone else? I know this is weird, but I don't have cough drop, okay? I'm gonna start coughing. Okay, fantastic. You know, is a discounted check? Fantastic. Anyone else? All right, great. Radio or television? 12 months? Billboards? 12, oh, what'd you get? Carpet cleaning? How many of you listen to radio ads now? How many of you listen to XM? Or how many of you just plug in an aux and listen to music right off your phone? Oh, I love it. This is how we're transforming, right? Okay, so what else? Billboards, anyone? Probably the Coors Light thing catches on your behavior every time. It does. It just gets you in the general category, right? Bud Light Lime does, all right. Okay, how many of you have made a purchase to a new product, service, or individual via referral in the last 12 months? Raise your hands and look around. You got a referral. Raise your hands and look around. So someone referred you to a new product or a new service or a new company. Raise your hands and look around. Okay, how many of you went online and made a purchase? New product, new service? So when I say clarity, let's just stop the crap, right? I love the fact that my background actually as Vice President of Global Logistics and Supply Chain Strategy for Nordstrom. And fossils who got me here, Tommy Bahama in Seattle, Washington. So my background is actually logistics, which I'm all about measurements. I'm all about analyzing data, human capital, information, resources, technology, and data in order to be able to determine what works and what doesn't. So I love the fact that I own digital marketing agencies, but I don't have to be retrained. Right? So when an agency comes down, they sit down and they tell me what I should do. I'm like, yeah, no, pretty graphs and charts, love you, but I talk to real people all day long. I care more about what this audience says than any other stat that I can see from a marketing agency. The fact is that the way people buy, the way people communicate, it is changing drastically overnight. Overnight. It's not gonna go backwards. But we're so trained to do old school things that we don't jog our entire structure and get into a new environment. And we need to do that very, very quickly. 1,000 days is not a long time. You know what I mean? 1,000 days. This occurred over the last couple of years. I remember standing on stage 5 years ago and saying, if you do business the way you did 5 years ago, you're gonna be out of business. I don't say that anymore. Now I'm saying 12 months. If you're still doing what you were doing 12 months ago, something is wrong. Because we have to be able to change the way that we're connecting and converting very, very quickly. So, we were talking about the competitor. ADD, sometimes it works for me, I can come back. So, we were talking about the competitor. If somebody's spending $20,000 on a marketing campaign, and I know two things. A, people do business via referral. B, people do business via the internet. And in addition to that, if you get a referral to a new business, you're going to Google them first, which means you wind up back at the internet to validate whether or not it was a good referral. Then what should I care about? I care about the fact that this woman probably, who just launched this book, probably has a tremendous amount of referral business. I just want to be choice B, right? There's her, there's me. I'm even saying she's beautiful, I like her shoes, her book is amazing, I haven't read it yet. Her book is amazing. And if somebody goes to the internet and they Google her name, they're going to see her, and then they're going to see me right below it with an article about the book, and it's going to have a place to buy the book, and it's going to have a lead capture form sending them to my business. I love competitors. That, to me, is networking. You don't even have to have, think about networking in a power, right? Your job, write this down away from your clarity and focus. Actually, we'll finish that out. Clarity, focus, and execution. Without clarity, you cannot focus. Without focus, you cannot execute. Without executing, you cannot win. Cannot win. You're going to take notes in here. If you don't execute after that, we're going to be right where we started. So it's quite possible, 90% of the room has nothing with your information to fill in today. I hope that's not the case. So I'd rather go into it eyes wide open. So, good. Okay, so the clarity and focus, that's going to be critical. Now, from a digital networking standpoint, or networking in general, you have two objectives. One is to connect, two is to convert. One is to connect, two is to convert. Connect, convert, which means you have to have a formal principle for doing that. process is, hi, we meet, hi, Kevin, I'm Jennifer, how are you doing? That's my dad's name, I'll remember your name. Okay, so we have the ability to connect. Now the conversion process is going to take obviously some qualification, there's probably an exchange of information, probably an exchange of meetings and so forth. I love this organization because this organization follows practical principles in networking. It's not exclusive, there's not one of each industry type. You think about a B&I group where you can only have one web designer. I'll tell you what, knowing web designers, you have some people that do CSS, some that do tables, some that do CMS, you have some that do HTML, some that do Drupal, some that do WordPress, some are 5,000, some are 10,000, some are 500, some are in their backyard, some are in their garage, some are actually have a company and a team. You know what I mean? It's impossible to do that. So in this environment, I love how collaborative it is. But a lot of times what happens is we're not measuring our success. Will you do me a favor, Linda? Will you go to the CRM system? I have the trends page up. I like the digital environment. For example, this is the type of statistics. That's perfect, actually, either one. So this is the type of statistics that I measure. If I go speak right now, this group is a campaign. Okay, this campaign, for this date, you are all going to, and I'll just show you my system. This is what is going to happen from this. Okay, at the end of this event, we're going to give you guys a survey. You're going to fill out that survey, and you're going to go into my system. And in my system, part of filling out that form is I'm going to ask some qualifying questions. Size of your company, how many salespeople you have, what you need help with, what you thought of us, and so forth. And that information is going to go in to this system, and it's going to tell me exactly what my conversion ratio is out of this event. Every activity you do, if you don't measure it, forget networking. Just stop now. I see too many people that literally make their business the business of networking, not the business of doing business. When I go to a networking environment, my job is to figure out how to get in and get out. So how to figure out, is this a great investment of my time? And you have to be able to measure that. You also have to be able to measure relationships. So every new business opportunity is coming from a particular source. The source might be an individual. Michael may be an amazing referral source for me. I may have 4 people in my network that are similar to him. One person sends me 100 potential opportunities on an annual basis, but I only have 2 that close per year, and he only sends me 10 per year, and I have 10 that close. Which one is more valuable? Yeah, I know you already know. His head goes, whoa, whoa. So the 10 is more valuable. Imagine if you were just trucking along in networking events and you weren't actually measuring your results. Imagine the lost opportunities that you could have simply by having the wrong connections, the wrong relationships, not having clarity in what those relationships are providing. So it's very, very important. Let's go through the format of source first. Number 1 sources of new business should come from, and you can write these down. Anyone want to throw out what the number 1 source of new business should come from? Existing customers. Yes, existing customer referrals. Because they can be an ambassador for your business. Next. Prospects. Think about when you were in the process of buying a home. How many of you right now on your way here, you saw an interest rate posted on a billboard? Anybody? How many remember, or you saw a for sale sign at a yard? Anybody see one? Okay, think about when you were buying a home. How many did you see then? They were everywhere. Ladies, how many of you have had children? You remember when you were pregnant? It was literally like pregnant women dropped off the planet of Mars. They're everywhere. Right? They're everywhere. Every time you turn around, you're like, dang, another one. I don't see pregnant women, ever. I never do. But when I was pregnant, they were everywhere. Right? Same thing. Then when you buy a car, you drive off the car lot, all of a sudden the second you're pulling up, you're like, my car is hot. I've been looking at this car for months. I finally got this car. I pull off the car lot and I see one go by. Boom, same color. Damn. Another one, same color. Another drive by. Like, gee, she even looks like me. Right? That is a reticular activator. It's in our head. I am a nerd. I'm just trying to disguise it with cute shoes. However, the reticular activator is what you have your subconscious talking to your conscious, right? So when somebody is in the buying process, it's actually the absolute best time to get referrals. We often forget about that because we're trying to close the deal and we're not asking for the referral business during that process. So that's number 2. Next, source of new business. source. Any thoughts? I did an interview with you guys in the room earlier. You guys said what the number 2 was.
You heard you? He said something.
What?
He said it right here.
What? Strategic partnerships, yes? Thank you. He's looking out for you. Strategic partnerships. Definition, someone who sells a different product or service to an identical client base. That would be a great client fit for you. All right, next. Next one. Internet. You're on the internet. Under the internet, we're going to break that into websites and blogs. And scratch out websites and just leave blog there. I'll talk a little bit about that. Next is going to be social. Under social, first bullet point is going to be Facebook. Most popular internet or most popular social media platform in the world today. 26 minutes per day people spend their time on there. They check Facebook prior to checking their email box. In order for a grandparent to have a connection to a grandchild, they have to be on there. Actually, they did have to be on there. Tell all the grandkids, oh, forget you, I'm going on Instagram, so you can't watch what I do. You do too, you got a good Instagram account. All right, so Facebook number 1, YouTube number 2. Number 3, LinkedIn, number 4, Twitter. 4 primary social media networks right now. Could that change? Yes. Will it change? Absolutely. Just be ready to change. The great part about technology, communication, networking, just be fluid. So let me ask you some questions real quick. How many of you believe Facebook is for business? How many generate business off of Facebook right now? That's you. Okay, those are usually your numbers. And it's not because you can't, it's just because it's not being done properly. All right? How many of you would rather watch a video than read a blog post? Watch a video, raise your hands, and look around. How many of you would rather read a blog? Raise your hand, look around. How many of you would rather read a headline than an actual blog? Raise your hand. Okay, of those people, how many of you use Twitter? Good, love it. All right, I need you to think of it this way. What did you notice in this room? Was there a difference in age groups on who used what? No, there wasn't any. Absolutely not when I was watching. How many of you use Facebook? Raise your hands. How many of you use Twitter? Raise your hands. How many of you use YouTube? Raise your hands. How many of you watch YouTube videos? You don't have a channel? Raise your hands. Oh. So let's do this again. How many of you watch YouTube videos? Look around. How many of you use YouTube for business? Raise your hand. That's a problem. Right? That's a problem. This is the greatest part about social media. Well, listen to the young ones. Just because they know how to post a Facebook page doesn't mean they know how to make money. I know how to make money. Being in the business of business, being a business consultant, a business strategist, you think about how am I going to leverage my resources, time, money, energy, and tools in order to be able to generate cash flow. Cash flow is critical. Those social media sites are the new cell phones. If anyone ever tells you, depending on the business that you're in, it's going to debate on whether or not you should use one particular site over another site. How many of you have an iPhone? Raise your hands. How many of you have an Android? Raise your hands. Usually they get more feisty. BlackBerry, corporate. Okay. Corporate issue? What are you guys? Oh, corporate issue. All right. This is the thing. It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, everybody likes to be communicated with differently. Some people like video, some people like audio, some people like short videos, some people like long videos, some people like text, some people like reading, some people don't. So don't worry about anything other than it's your job to meet people where they are. It's your job to change. If you want the business, you're going to have to get into their head. I got lectured by one of the CEOs of one of my companies. His dad kind of gave my tale to me this weekend. It was probably one of the best and most needed experiences I got. He was really telling me to talk too fast. And he was saying, look, I'm old. And he was like, I like to hear what you're saying. I'm interested in this. He was like, but you talk too fast. And he was like, you're just going to have me put up a wall instantly, and I'm not going to pay attention. This is a very, very, very successful veterinarian. He's obviously quite retired right now. However, he was telling me that he's like, what you do, that all this technology, I understand that I'm using it to stay in contact with my children. But when you try and teach it to me in business, you talk way too fast. You use terms I'm not familiar with. It's second nature to you. And all I thought about was the fact that when my son and his friends get on the Xbox Live thing and they start talking about bots and how they build their Instagram fan base, my son can upload an Instagram picture and have 115 likes in about an hour and a half. I'm uploading Facebook, I'm like 22. I'm a social media expert, 28, right? So I think about, that's how I feel with my son. right? And it's even worse when you get down to toddlers and little ones, they're pissed off because the TV screen doesn't move when they slap it, right? so we literally have to figure out very, very quickly how to meet people where they are. We spend so much time trying to justify why we do what we do, why we think like we think, why we act like we like, why we don't do this, why we don't. Forget the justification. We have to think about getting results, not reasons. We're constantly creating reasons why we don't do something or why we won't do something or why it's not for me. Forget it. The numbers are so real. I love being a speaker because the only thing that matters is your opinion, your information. You tell me what works and what doesn't work. And the fact of the matter is, I've spoken in Indiana, I've spoken in every corner of Indiana. They actually use door hangers and they walk from farm to farm to deliver them. It's very odd to me. However, it's still the same. Everybody is different. It's personal preference. It really is. There's no major age demographics. There's no major differences. It's just personal preference. My parents have forced me to get on every social media I could. Kicking dragons and I don't want another one. I'm tired of them. Okay? So that's going to be critical. All right, you guys. We're going to go through really quickly. How many of you feel like I get this now? Do we have a little bit more clarity? Yeah? So let's talk for just a second. There's 4 components to networking that you have to have down pat. The first one is, do you have the right technology? Do you have the right technology? If you work for a company, is that company providing you with a way to be able to capture leads off of their website? Do you have a blog that you can contribute content to? Do you have a place to be able to place your videos and so forth? Are you leveraging social media sites? The second thing you need is, do you have the right strategy? Strategy is critical. I walked you through kind of a process of how people think and how people buy because I want you to be able to get rid of the fat. Cut all the stuff out that doesn't really work and that isn't effective. If it's a 1 in 10 chance, and I got a 1 in 1 chance here, which one should I go with? We have to start eliminating the fat, cutting out the things that don't work, and not spending our time there. The best business decisions I've made in my life are the ones that I say no to. Sometimes it's people, sometimes it's a business, sometimes it's a deal, sometimes it's actual clothes, but the things you can learn to say no to are going to be critical. The third component that you need is a mindset and behavior that's going to serve you well. A mindset and a behavior that's going to serve you well. I say that because I can give 2 companies the same technology, same strategy, same product, same price, same placement, same investment. I can give them everything. However, one's going to perform here and one's going to perform here. Why is that? What's the one thing in common in both of them? It's a person. It's all mindset. Everything comes down to their mindset. You have some people that are into this and they're constantly skeptical and they just wake up mad. What happened? So many of people that are fearful, I'm scared of this, so I'm not comfortable. So we have to figure out how do we adjust that. So first things first, we have to figure out how do we change internally. 1,000 days. I'm going to keep saying 1,000 days. 1,000 days. You want to work for my son? 1,000 days. You want to compete with my son? 1,000 days. That is not very long. Our jobs are going to be on the line. Our businesses are going to have different competitors. Our businesses are going to have different consumers. 1,000 days to get our stuff right. And guess what? While we're doing it, you're going to do that on quicksand. The landscape in which you're going to try and learn how to leverage these technologies and communication devices in order to network and gain connectivity and conversions is going to keep changing while you're doing it. Fun? That's the fun. So it's going to change. Wouldn't you rather go into it? I know when I first opened my business, I had a business coach that he's amazing, but he sat me down and he was like, look, girl, you're going to be broke. You are going to run through your money so fast, you are going to go broke before you do anything right. I was like, that's nice. It's like, oh, and I bet you got into this because you wanted freedom. No, you're not going to have any. None. And you didn't want to work for men. You're not going to. You're going to have 100 bosses. Every customer you bring in is going to be your new boss. Now you have them come from everywhere, not just one. So he literally laid the groundwork where I was like, that didn't even really look good. But I would rather have that view. I would rather have an understanding of what it really is going to look like. That way I can mentally prepare my mind to be able to go through it. You know what I mean? How many of you have a treadmill? Anyone ever bought one? What is it? Hanging clothes. We have a hard time with change. Every time we think we're going to change somebody else, we have to stop for a minute and just remember, how hard is it for you to change yourself? If for any given instance you think you're going to change the way a customer is going to do business with you, or you're going to change the way a strategic partner is going to do business, you're going to change, we can go into spouses and friends and everything else. Let me tell you, you have one person that you can possibly have a shot in changing, and it's you. If you spend your time thinking about what everybody else does wrong, what the government does wrong, what this does wrong, what they do wrong, why this customer doesn't have a brain, whatever it is, if you spend your time thinking about what everybody else is not doing, what everybody else is doing wrong, how everybody else needs to change, the one thing that's not going to happen, you're not going to get where you want to go. So write this down. If I don't like what I'm getting, I must change what I'm doing. If I don't like what I'm getting, I must change what I'm doing. I didn't say you must change what other people are doing, or the layout, or the marketplace. I must change what I'm doing. In a networking environment, in a marketing environment, in a technology environment, this is all too often the one thing that is missed. It's missed, it's not addressed. We don't have a conversation with ourselves and say, you know what, if I want a different result, I'm going to have to physically change. I'm going to have to change what I'm doing. I'm going to have to develop a new routine. I'm going to have to develop a different comfort level. I'm going to have to become more proficient online. I'm going to have to learn new tools. I'm going to have to do that. And that's where it has to start. How many of you are comfortable making that change? Okay? How many of you are not comfortable? I'm going to use one to be quiet. She's like, now. Like 19 minutes ago. So, this is very, very critical. You have to think about change like a boat, right? Everything that we are, everything that you think, your attitude, your personality, your style, what you like, it doesn't matter if it's political, it doesn't matter what it is. It all came from somewhere else, and it sure wasn't you. You're not that creative. Where did it come from? Why do you think like you do? Thoughts? Where are behaviors from? Friends, family? Life experiences? Absolutely. You're programmed. Everything about you is programmed. It's wired. It's hardwired. You know, it's stuck in there. So if you want to go through this process, if you want to get a different result, how many of you love where you're at and don't want a new result? How many of you want a different result? Totally willing to do what it takes to get it. This table, I'm not connecting with you. I'm going to hang out over here. Are we good? What are your thoughts? Do you have any today? Yeah? You're in? Your arms are tired. Oh. Yes.
Well, I think, like when you ask, are you comfortable with change? Well, do I want to do it? Yes. But even just like trying to write a blog or trying to do any of those things because it's not something that's second nature to me. Back to finding the time because I know it's going to take a lot of energy and effort away from something else that I am comfortable with.
Answering that same question over and over
Right.
again.
So
Yeah.
it just kind of says, yeah, I'd love to do it, but what I really want is somebody to do it for me.
So then we go back to who's the best salesperson for you. It's you. So these are good things to keep going through because this is all mindset things, right? And one thing we'll say, I'm totally comfortable answering the same question over and over again day after day. And then I'm okay with saying, I don't have enough time to take 5 minutes and answer the same question, but this time I'm actually just going to digitize it. I'm going to have a Google Hangout in front of me or a webcam in front of me. I'm going to hit the record button. I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to make it permanent. And this time, instead of me having a phone conversation and answering that, I'm going to take that YouTube video that's auto-published into YouTube, and I'm going to copy a chunk of embed code, go to a blog, and hit paste and hit publish. The time difference, it actually takes less time. Yes?
And that's what I was going to say is because like in sales, my thing that I'm frustrated with is like, you need to get in front of more people, but then you have to make all these, you have to make phone calls or you have to send out emails, and that takes time.
Yep.
And sometimes you might want to personalize this, that, or the other. And I could spend a day, and I'm like, okay, well nobody's getting back to me. So if you reach out to that type of media, you don't have to write an email. You just talk. If you don't like what you said, you can re-record.
Yep.
Throw it out there. I like that kind of thing.
Do me a favor, will you go to Danette's website real quick? So what we actually wound up doing is creating a network called a digital network, DNet. And inside here, there's businesses from all over. And these are people who, they're interested in going through this process, they're interested in changing, they're interested in learning how to network digitally. You'll see slides if there's stuff going on. How many of you have a Google Plus account? Gmail account? Okay, so let's write down a to-do list. Are we okay with that? So first to-do list is you need a Gmail account. Everybody in here has to have a Gmail account. Second is you need a Google Plus account, which once you have a Gmail account, as soon as you log into your Gmail account, in the very top left corner, you're going to see a little plus sign in your name. Click on that. It'll walk you through setting up a Google Plus account. Third thing is you need a Google Hangout. When you are logged into your Google Plus account, there's a little button on the right-hand corner that says Start a Hangout. As soon as you hit Start a Hangout, a web thing is going to pop up, and it's going to say Invite some friends. Anybody that's in your circles in Google Plus, you can simply click on their names, invite them to an online broadcast. You'll notice in some of these broadcasts, you see one person up top and then a couple below. You can have up to 9 people on your Google broadcast. So there's so many applications, it's ridiculous. I'll come back to that. But you need to do that. That is very, very simple. If you have somebody you network with. Remember I was giving you the 4 different components. I think I only gave you 3, right? The 4th one is network. You have to have a network. Your network offline is very different than your network online. Hopefully you're bringing them into a mixed place. If I meet someone offline, my goal is to bring them online. If I meet them online, my goal is to eventually get them offline. That has to be part of your strategy, right? Technology, strategy, mindset, network. Your strategy is if I meet someone offline, I want to bring them online. Why would I want to do that? If I meet you in this room, who did I introduce you to today? Or who could I potentially introduce you to today? Myself and my team, right? I have Michael, Lorenzo, Kay Wallace, Kathy Marshall. If you were to connect with me digitally on my Facebook account, who can I introduce you to then? My entire network. Okay? Digital networking is 1,000 times, 100,000 times, depending on the size of the network, 1,000,000 times more effective. It doesn't mean not personal. You'll always hear me say the fusion of old school methodologies and new age technology, which means I need both. In this environment, you guys as an organization are very powerful together in this room. You are going to capitalize on that power if you meet digitally as well. One of those links I have, click on the next Keynote link at the top. So this is a whole bunch of different, and then go ahead and scroll up. This is a whole bunch of different businesses that buy into this concept of learning how to network digitally, learning how to leverage technology at the same time and develop greater results. So you'll notice we have a picture. This is at Galpin Ford Motors in LA. There's Kay, she's right there, and Casey, my CEO. We'll scroll down a little bit. So that's at a particular event. That picture was uploaded to Facebook. So at the end of this event, we're going to take a group photo. When that picture was uploaded to Facebook and every person was tagged in there, we took an entire room full of individuals that didn't know each other, and guess what instantly happened? Our networks went bam, and it literally, they cold smashed. That's only for me. So our networks exploded instantaneously because we literally connected all of these dots and made these greater breaths, right? Think of it like these little neutrons that you connect one, boom, I connect them into 100. Take these ones, connect them into 100. Connect these, connect them into 100. You think my odds are better if I get to learn about somebody online before I go sit and have coffee in a coffee shop for a 3-hour lunch meeting? Think about this. I'm an operations person. So to me, I'm measuring every twist, turn, move, pull, push. I got to figure out how to use the least amount of minutes to get the greatest amount of return. I actually would not come speak if I can't record it. I record everything because I want to slice and dice it, upload it to YouTube, and have my hour I spend here today is going to generate more business outside of this group than in this group. And it's going to work forever. So inside here, this entire group comes together. They post this. We have a picture. We've tagged other websites. So now you're bringing Galpin's website. This is a cool part. Galpin Motors is a huge company. If you actually Google for Galpin Motors, guess who shows up now? All right, Galpin Motors has a marketing budget I can't touch. But if I can just land right next to them and just be a couple options, that's great, huh? All right, so we'll keep going. This right here, remember I told you earlier, there's 2 things about networking, connect and convert, connect and convert. If you're doing this for the joy of networking or to make friends, then bless you. However, if you're interested in making money, Then, what is going to be important is going to be your conversion ratios. Your conversion ratios on an individual, your conversion ratios on a strategic partner, on a speaking event, on a website, on a blog post, on a campaign. So you'll notice everything we put online on a social media account. If you're looking at our social media account, another note earlier, it says contact us on there. It has a conversion form. That conversion form is tied into the website. Everything that we do is measured. Everything. Next year, the difference is when I sit down and I'm doing consulting with somebody and they're telling me, I think, I believe, and I feel. Those are the three words that absolutely will kill everything that you do. I think, I feel, and I believe. The difference in what most people say about their marketing efforts and what I can say is I know. I know exactly what marketing efforts generate the most amount of cash. What marketing efforts generate the most amount of leads. Too often, small business owners or mid-sized business owners totally get completely misguided with analytics. Google Analytics will murder you. If I can drive 3,000 unique visitors to your website or 5,000 unique visitors to your website and they generate 300 leads and those 300 leads don't convert, guess what I am? An expense. I am costing you money. So we have to be very, very careful at what are the key performance indicators. This is where clarity comes into place that we're going to measure that are going to identify where I need to spend my time, where I need to spend my money and my resources. Write down this phrase real quick. This is something that's really helped me. And then we'll come back to this. This was kind of my creed for my company. I said, I promise to protect and leverage, and underline protect and leverage. I promise to protect and leverage my time, money, resources, relationships, and technology. I promise to protect and leverage my time, money. Will you write that down, Michael? Please. I promise to protect and leverage my time, money, resources, relationships, and technology. The words protect and leverage are so critical. That's why I said earlier some of the best decisions I've made in my own business are no. No, I'm not going to engage in that. Or I'm not going to go sit for 3 hours. In a social environment, if we connect online, I instantaneously can tell whether or not we're going to be a good fit. I just know. I know from who you're friends with. I know from what you do. I know what your interests are. I know whether you're a jokey joke or you're actually serious. I know if you kind of have a balance. I know what kind of business you do. I know if you're a great referral source. I know if your customers love you. I know if your customers don't love you. I know if you have no engagement. I know if you're standoffish. So in a networking environment, if I'm practicing physical networking techniques and I don't leverage digital, how do I qualify and get that same information? What amount of time am I willing to invest in order to gain all the information I just said I can glean instantaneously from a digital environment? You're talking about hundreds of hours. Hundreds and hundreds of hours. The term one-on-one freaks me out. I'm like, well, can we do some research first? Can we see if this is a good fit first before we date? Right. So that's a big deal. You can tell that online. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Research, relationships, and technology. Perfect. Thank you. So this is critical. Connect. The article is designed to connect with new prospects. Convert. I want to give them a call to action, and I want to be able to measure the results. They fill out the form, they land in a campaign. I know that the week that we spent in Hollywood and in LA, I know how many leads and opportunities it's already generated. I know how many were sold in the room, and I know over the lifetime of my investment, guess how powerful my one trip to LA was 3 years from now. This is how powerful this process is. Our company is so good at generating leads and opportunities because of our digital footprint and network, because we make time, because we force ourselves to go down that route. I had to literally create a business, create a company that was about passing leads back and forth, passing referrals back and forth. In 30 days, we're launching a new application inside our CRM system called Handshake. Handshake is the first CRM to CRM referral. It's never been done before. It's almost like LinkedIn, but it's actually really business, not just networking. So if I get a lead on this website that's not a good fit for me and I want to pass it to another web company or social media company, I just literally look at the network, hit Handshake, and I pass it over to their system. They move through the sales process. It's never been done before. But it was designed out of necessity. It was designed out of necessity because I have thousands and thousands and thousands of videos online, thousands of blog posts, thousands of digital media. I have myself with every hair color you could possibly imagine is online, right? And every hair color. I could be a L'Oreal So, because you take the time to do that, you're going to develop funnels. You will never have to wonder where your business is going to come from. You will never have to wonder. The work, the decisions, the choices you make today, right now, are going to matter 18 months from now, 12 months from now, 6 months from now. It used to be 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Now it's getting sooner. So you actually, the great part of it is that what you choose to do, your decisions, good, bad, or indifferent, right now, are going to severely impact where you are in the future. All right, so we'll scroll down. So this blog post goes on. People have the ability to share it, post it, reshare it. It's really interesting. Referrals today, if you're requiring somebody to send you a referral and they actually have to physically call you, that is crazy. Because that is exhausting to people. How many love making phone calls right now? Look around. This is a reality. The whole room's like, I don't want to answer my phone. I really don't. How many of you love email? All right, we're down to like 4. How many of you love Facebook? You actually have better communications on Facebook than email. Raise your hands and look around. Think about that. The room just showed you what the reality is. Everybody say, no, I don't love to talk on the phone. No one raise their hands. I really don't love email. It's not an effective tool for me to be able to communicate with people. However, Facebook is the most effective tool. In a Facebook environment, I have the ability to leverage my time. Think about this. This is a blog post. In this blog post, I am able to, think about this from a networking environment compared to in a room. I'm able to say, this has been an amazing event. I can say at DNet, I can tag the DNet community. There's thousands of people in there. I can say at Mothernode, another few thousand people. At Sales Supply Chain Consulting, another few thousand. At CI Web Group, at Pair Digital Media event, absolutely amazing. The event by Galpin Motors, at tens of thousands of people. Sponsored and hosted by this event. I have thank you to Kay Wallace in the back room, Casey Eberhard in the back room for helping put this together. Go ahead and scroll down. Kay, will you work that for me? Will you scroll down for me? Please?
Absolutely.
So I want you to look at this. When I commented on here, it took that blog post and it literally took my article. Remember I showed you the picture with all the people? Took my article and it put it out on all of these other networks. If anybody clicks on that article on Facebook in any network, it automatically is going to take them back here where I have a call to action and I have a lead capture form. Notice these. Every time someone hits like, it notifies everybody in every network. Every time somebody comments on the post, it notifies everybody. People can follow the post. Keep going. I want you to look. See, some people, they get it. So this guy comes in. He thanks us, but in addition, he starts tagging his own communities, his own sites, his own networks, and dragging it in further. You're talking about an activity, so when you talk about I don't have enough time, for me to put this article, put a video on there, drop in a picture, post this on a blog post, if I don't count the time I'm recording the video because it was actually at the event, if I just the activity, and for me to write these comments, you're talking about 18 to 20 minutes max. 18 to 20 minutes. I can literally hit hundreds of thousands of people, give them a picture in case you like pictures better, a video in case you like videos better, a blog post in case you like blog posts better. I give you the ability to refer to me by giving you the ability to share on whatever site you like. I don't care what you like. There's 380 different share sites that they can send it out to. I send it out to every one of my company sites, every one of my network sites, and allow the entire base of people that were there to continue to do the same thing in 22 minutes. Think about the power of digital networking. Those 4 elements, the right technology, the right strategy, the right mindset, and the right network. The ability for you to have unlimited business, where you literally are cherry picking who you work with, when you work with them, how you work with them. It is not far away, but it is 18 months away and you would have to start today. It is going to require some behavior changes. Does this make sense? Do you see the power in this? This is our future. This is how my son had that many people registered for an event he didn't place his phone call to. Right? If I put you guys in competition in 1,000 days or today with my son and I said, hey, we're going to have a party tomorrow, so we can speak, I'll have my voice back and I'll actually be playing that time. Then, and I had him compete with you guys, guess who would fill the room faster? My son would fill the room faster than all of you, and all I would need is a couple pizzas and skateboard giveaway. literally without making a phone call. This isn't a choice. This isn't an option. How many would like to be in business 10 years from now? How many would like to be a power player in your company or in your 5 years from now? Then we need to learn to communicate, network, and connect. And we need to learn to measure our work effectively. We use an integrated CRM to do that in order to be able to compete effectively and to hold our ground. This is the first time in my life as a speaker where when I ask people why did they go into business for themselves, I'm starting to hear larger groups of people say out of necessity. Out of necessity. Because right now, there isn't jobs available for me. Right now, I'm not marketable because of age, or I'm not marketable because I'm too experienced, or because my pay is too much. Those positions are being given to other people, or because of my lack of technology skills. Right now, I know this is going to trend. We are going to see people continually trying to figure out what is a better option for me. I have to be able to protect my foot. And so part of this is offensive, and part of this is defensive as well. But we really have to be able to do both. This is about accelerating your guys' results. I hope this is helpful for you. We have a couple minutes for questions. And we have lots of questions so far. Are you overwhelmed? How many people are excited? Yes? A little nervous? Overwhelmed? Want to know next steps? Okay, I like that. So I gave you a few next steps. All of you have a piece of paper in front of you. I take these back to my company. You're part of my conversion process. So anybody that's in here, if you would be so kind as to fill that out, what we will do is we will set aside an hour consultation to help you with next steps. I am a consultant by nature, not a salesperson, so I'm not interested in selling anything. In fact, I have no clue what any of you know. If any speaker ever stands in front of an audience and tells you you should buy something or do something, run. Because without them knowing how long have you been in business, where do you want to go, what are your personal objectives, what are your corporate objectives, how many customers do you have, what marketplace, there are so many pieces of information that need to be asked before advice can be given. That's why we do this. Just fill those out. If there's specific areas you want us to focus on, we'd be happy to do that. If you have people in your company you want to bring with you or you want to do in your office, you're more than welcome to do that as well. And it's really just information and education. Our goal is for you to come out of that consultation with so much valuable information that you tell other people. We believe in referrals, and that's kind of how this works. In addition, while you guys are filling those out, I hope that if you are online, you connect with myself and my team on Facebook. I would love that. If you connect with me on Facebook, it's really me that answers you. If you connect with me on LinkedIn or Twitter, then it's somebody else. If you ask me about what happened on LinkedIn. Any other thoughts or questions while you guys are filling that out? Yep. Yeah. So I will tell you, dnettv.com is probably the resource you want to write down. Those are people that ask that same question. They came to an event, they learned more information, they joined the network, and they did it because they wanted a group of people that would help coach them through the process and get them comfortable. So oftentimes they'll generate content, they'll post it on the site first before they start getting comfortable in their own site. The first thing is you need to surround yourself by groups of people who operate like you do. Because you having someone in your network, you operate here and they operate here, doesn't help you anyway. So that would be first. Myself, Kay Wallace, the CEO of the company, Case Neverhard, he is a god. He is amazing. He is training every single week. There's TV shows, there's videos, there's everything online on those on that site. It's all free. It's information. The best thing is when you're looking at DNet TV and you're going through that site, I want you to look at it critically from more what was the system that was used. Not necessarily the content, because there's tons of different kinds of business owners that are on there. But systemically, what did they do? Oh my gosh, okay, well they interviewed a competitor. They brought a competitor on. I see how they labeled the article. I see they have a lead capture form on there. You can see who the article was written by. You can see who's in the video. You can get an idea of content and so forth, and it'll give you some ideas. But jump into it. A lot of times in social media environment, you end up being a bench warmer, right? For every time I post something on my Facebook account, for every one person that writes on there, there's thousands that follow everything that I do. And so participate. Jump in, start adding thoughts, start adding comments. I try and write stuff that's thought-provoking where we can actually create a dialogue in addition to personal things. So jump into that conversation and get comfortable with that right away. Okay? Anyone else? Thank you. Yes. If you just look up Jennifer Bagley on Facebook, and you can there's a couple of them. We would love to, if you'd be so kind, take a group picture. Would that be good? Can we do that?
Yay!
All right. Andale.
Lights up.
I need my team to please.
Pick up a few, Hannah.